Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday, the 21st of December, comes to you from London. And it's the start of the Christmas week, so we will be a shorter trading week this week. But of course, it's also got very chaotic with further lockdowns in Europe, and in particular London being locked down on Saturday now for Christmas. So it's really hit the markets, and what's hit more so is the UK being locked down such that all travel to and from the UK seems to be being cancelled at the moment. So we're seeing flights cancelled, the Channel crossing cancelled for outbound traffic to Europe, and so it's just having a big effect on the markets this morning. And the interesting thing is, so we see a sea of red. We've got European markets down 2 and 3%. We've seen crude oil down 5%. But really the interesting thing is just how much we're seeing this hit, and even sterling down 2% this morning. So we start by looking at the dollar index, remembering this is my long-term, my medium-term, and my short-term view of the market. And we're seeing here the short-term chart has really rocketed on the dollar. European currencies being hit, and this new strain of the virus spreading across Europe is having an impact on Europe more so than the US. That's dropped the euro down 1% against the dollar, so we've turned short-term bearish there. The long-term charts, of course, are still unaffected. Sterling, as we mentioned, down over 2%, so it really has taken a tumble this morning. We see that daily candle there, so it's a really big move. Not enough to change the medium-term trend, but certainly short-term we're seeing that. And then if we look at sterling against the euro, we're down about 1% here, so we're just seeing that being hit. Bitcoin sitting at $22,800, so it's actually holding on. It's down 2%, but for Bitcoin, that's not anything to write home about. We see these big moves in Bitcoin all the time, especially lately. And we see the S&P 500 index actually held up on Friday. So we are still holding the short-term trends. But looking at the futures, we are down around 2% on the S&P future, and the Nasdaq is down 1.3%. So we are seeing an element of contagion. The VIX volatility is up 32% this morning. So that's a massive move in the fear index, remembering that the higher this index goes, the more the fear for markets. So that VIX jump is huge. And it's been a while since we've seen a daily jump of that magnitude. Certainly back in October we had one. But we're seeing the VIX is just rocketing this morning. So no big surprises there as we see markets fall. The FTSE future is down 2.6%. And if we look at the DAX in Germany, the cash market is down 3.3%. The CAC 40 down 3%. So we are seeing the beginnings of a second wave of selling here. Asia was relatively unscathed. Japan down 0.25%. The Hang Seng in Tokyo down 0.7%, and the Chinese market bucking the trend, actually up 0.75%. So China seems to be insulated now from a lot of what's been going on. India down 3%, so it's quite a big move, not enough to really change the trend, holding on to the bull trend there on the lagging line. The Aussie market actually also little changed, so it's holding on despite there being some interstate lockdowns in Oz. It's not really having a massive effect on the market. Gold is actually down slightly this morning. It's been lower, but we are holding on to the bull trend on the short-term chart. Gold likely to be a beneficiary. The fact that the dollar's up 1% on the index is probably just having a little bit of an effect. Remember that a falling dollar is what helps gold rise, and so the dollar rising this morning is probably just not helping. Silver is actually up 0.75%, so we are seeing the trends holding there as well. Copper down 2%, just seeing that sort of industrial production. And a big move again in the 10-year yields, down 6%, with Congress having announced a support package for the US. Has had a bit of an impact, and we're seeing that falling away. Taking a quick look at the commodities, as we mentioned, Brent crude down 5%, so a really big move there, a massive one-day reversal candle there, so that's had an impact and looks like we'll go lower. So this is the beginning of maybe a top. And if we look at WTI, down 5%. So it's also looking much lower as well. US nat gas sitting at 266, so 268. So we're just holding steady there. Coal continuing its rise, up 1%. So it's not really struggling. And we're seeing some changes in other areas such as emissions. They're down quite sharply this morning, down 3% with that sentiment change. But the short-term trend is just turning a bit bearish, and we've got some downside targets. So we are seeing a bit of a sell-off. We've still got big upside targets for emissions, but for the moment we're seeing a fallback. Taking a look at gas, MBP's up 4% this morning. TTF is up 2.9%. So we are seeing our markets moving there. And if we look at German power, little change this morning, 0.3% up. The quarterly contract up 2%. But German power holding on. And we're also seeing even Nordic power just holding levels this morning as well. So the gas and power market's looking quite resilient with this pretty bearish sentiment this morning. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.